This is the Water ID Lab 1.0. Comes with this nifty case. Opens up. You've got your tester right here, which has a cap to cover it up and keep the light out. You've got a syringe to measure perfectly 10 milliliters for your test samples. You've got your reagent crusher, which you'll see in a second, and then you have all your reagents. They actually come in a box. I took mine out, put them in here so I could access them easier. Your manual, which goes through each and every test, tells you exactly what to do. It's pretty simple. You probably don't need it after the first time. And that's what you get. There's 20 of these reagents for the chlorine and pH, and the rest comes with 10. You can also buy additional reagents so you can continuously test as much as you want. To turn it on is quite simple. You just press and hold the power button until you see Pool Lab come up. It says 0. You then take your 10 milliliter water sample, put it into the tester area, put your cap back on, and you're going to hit the 0 button. You'll see the 3 dots and it'll pop up and say ready to test. Now we're ready for our next test. Alright, so for our first test we're going to do chlorine. Alright, so you go in your little book, you find chlorine, it tells you to fill it up to 10 milliliters. Okay, and then it tells you to put the reagent in, mix the reagent completely, put the cap on and hit test. We're going to go in. We're going to get here's our reagents. DPD number 1, this is for free chlorine. We simply press, tablet falls in there. As you can see, your reagents down there. We need to take our reagent crusher and we need to crush it down. You want to make sure you get it all the way crushed and all the way dissolved. All the way dissolved so that when you look down in there, there's nothing visible on the bottom. Okay, so no remnants of the reagents, no powder left over. Okay, and now we're ready to test. We've got to put our cap back on because again the sunlight can affect this test. Alright, so we want to check our free chlorine, so I'm going to hit my free chlorine button here. Alright, it's going to give me a countdown. And I've got a reading of 0.5 parts per million chlorine. And that's it. Now to repeat and to do another test, I would simply dump this out, rinse it really quickly. If it was in a pool, I'd kind of shake it around, and then I'd move on to the next reagent. Alright, so the next test we're going to do is the pH test. We're going to use our phenol red. Again, we're going to take our 10 milliliter sample. Again, it gives you the syringe. You could take it right from your source water, put it right into the device, just like that. You take your phenol red, you pop it right in. The reagent tablet goes right in. You take your reagent tablet crusher. I check, make sure nothing's in the bottom. There is not. I'm going to put the cap on. I'm going to come over here to the pH button and I'm going to hit it. It's going to give me a countdown. Most of them are about 10 or 15 second countdowns. And I have a pH of 7.9. Okay. The total alkalinity is a longer countdown. I think it's about 3 minutes or so. But most of them again are about 15 seconds. So yeah, all in all, this is the Pool Lab 1.0. This is probably my favorite of all of the photometer testers. I like it small, sleek, easy to carry, not a ton of little parts. It all fits right nice and neatly in this little case. It's waterproof. You can use the syringe to get your sample of your 10 milliliters perfectly, or you can pop this off and dip this whole head into the pool, fill it to the top. That's your 10 milliliter sample. I like that it's Bluetooth. It can connect to your phone, send your results right to the app, give you suggestions and recommendations on what you need to do. It runs off AAA batteries. Again, the whole thing's waterproof. And while this only comes with 20 of the chlorine and 20 of the pH tests and 10 of the other alkalinity and cyanuric acid, you can order the reagents online. They're not very expensive. But what is really unique about this is this will actually test for parameters that most of them will not. You can do things like hydrogen peroxide, ozone, total hardness, bromine. The list is endless. There's like 11 different areas that you can test for, and again, most of the other testers you cannot do. With ozone becoming a big product on the market, having something like this that can test and measure the ozone of your water, that's clutch. So really cool, really affordable too compared to most of the other models. This thing sits around $200. You can't beat it. I really like this one. This is probably my favorite one. So again, Pool Lab 1.0 by Water ID. I'll post the link. Check it out.